Embarrassment on the bench. Did a county hearing master spout false information in court to scare a family trying to care for their loved one?
That's what Contact 13 Chief Investigator Darcy Spears is asking, and she is taking her questions all the way to the top.
Each hearing, they ignore my petitions and do absolutely nothing.
Several families feel they're getting run over when trying to protect a loved one. They say hearing master John Norheim is at the wheel.
Guardianship abuse has been going on here for over 20 years. Commissioner Norheim just refined the process.
County commissioners heard concerns and wanted action.
So that maybe we need to move this Norheim. If he's under your control, that might be the first move you make when you leave here this morning.
I think Commissioner Collins is absolutely correct. I would be getting rid of Mr. Nord, whatever, now, and put into effect some individuals that actually will work with the families.
That was 4 weeks ago, and Norheim is still on the bench. We sat down with Chief District Court Judge David Barker to ask why.
What about the calls to remove Norheim?
I understand the calls. I understand the case type. I will make decisions. We will make decisions that are consistent with an efficient operation of the guardianship program.
Contact 13 has seen firsthand how Norheim operates in the case of Del Mancarelli.
I would never do, Your Honor, anything inhumane to my father.
Terry Black is fighting to get her father back to North Carolina. To do that, she planned to transition him through Aegis-assisted living. But listen to this from a hearing last March as Norheim spouts scare tactics about what he says is her and Aegis's plan.
Aegis would send over typically 3 to 4 medical techs, very burly guys. They would go over to Ms. Natko's house. They would subdue your father. That is, they would take him to the ground. They would tie up his hands and his feet. They would inject him with a combination. They call it a B-52. They would then strap him to a gurney, 5-point restraints, including a belly restraint, hands and feet. They would then take him to Aegis, where he would be in a padded cell for a minimum of 3 days, up to a year, until he could be made docile enough to be transported to North Carolina.
This sounds like it's something rehearsed. We never made plans for IVs to be shot in Dad's arm and strapped to a gurney.
And each time she tried to explain that to Norheim, he steamrolled on and didn't let her talk.
The doctors tell me, all of the doctors tell me this is not medically appropriate, and breaking him by putting him in isolation and chemical restraints.
That's not the plan.
We contacted Aegis, who flat out deny the procedures Norheim described. In fact, it's against state law. Assisted living facilities cannot use chemical or physical restraints or lock a resident in a room.
I am appalled that a commissioner who's assigned to adjudicate on these kind of matters would make that up with no evidence.
We asked Chief Judge Barker to watch the hearing video with us.
Frankly, I'm not going to get down into the case.
He did allow us to read him a transcript.
What you described to me is troubling.
Barker says guardianship cases are very difficult and claims Norheim is trying to do what's best for the wards. As for the facts,
any judicial officer should know of what they speak.
And at this point, are there any plans to do anything differently, or
everything is on the table?
Aegis reached out to Commissioner Norheim to correct his misinformation, but they say he never responded to their letter or multiple phone calls. After our interview with Judge Barker, the court opened its own investigation, and we are awaiting their report. In the newsroom, Darcy Spears, Channel 13 Action News.